Dallas Cowboys wrapped up their time in Oxnard as they now returned home to Frisco to continue training camp from the Star Complex. Head coach Brian Schottenheimer announced that the plan Saturday is for Joe Milton to play against the Ravens, and he will play the whole game, while rookie first-round pick right guard Tyler Booker will be making his Cowboys debut after not playing in the preseason opener.
If you smoke, take it outside. Get the facts at don'tpassgas.org.
This is Extra Innings with Pledger.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge. What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. I appreciate y'all joining me, however you may be joining, whether that's 94.1 on your FM dial, if you happen to be locked in and listening online at sasportstar.com via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player, or if you happen to be watching live on our YouTube channel. That's right, you can stream all of our shows via YouTube. Just go there, search at SA Sports Star. Go ahead and like, subscribe while you're there. You're able to comment along with the show as it happens. I love talking to everybody that comes through the bullpen, whether it's Coyote or CDs or Fred Records, Sam, Ms. Becky, Frank. Always appreciate everybody for rolling through, having a conversation. Or if you want to kind of get in the old-fashioned way, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. I always love having conversations with y'all, and there's been a ton of conversations to have. So we are going to start with one of the most kind of biggest conversations we've had over the last couple of days, and that's been revolving around Project Marvel or Project Downtown, as we heard former Mayor Ron Nirenberg call it. We will hear from the former mayor about this project and some of the information and misinformation going on about it. We will get to that in just a second. But early this morning, the Morning Huddle was reacting to what the current mayor of the city and Ms. Gina Ortiz-Jones has been saying about Project Marvel and what she expects from it.
Gina Ortiz-Jones.
Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor. Do you have to
address
say that?
her appropriately? Yeah, she sent out a memo. You will address her appropriately.
That's the only way to say it. I don't like that, Madam Mayor. All right. Is this her on KSAT 12 or her with the Blitz?
Let's see.
And this must have been on KSAT here.
Well, I wanted to hear her talking to our guys.
I don't know. I just
All
saw
right.
the cut sheet, but here we sit.
Okay, here we go. She, I guess, set this up, Rob.
Last Thursday, it was the not the ultimate, but one of the final meetings to put together the funding proposal that the city, the county, and the Spurs are all going to put together. How much we're going to put on the ballot to find the funding, to the commitment to build it. Now, what I'm trying to get at is this isn't about building this is about the funding,
right?
And you'd think one and the other are the same. They're not. So this is about the funding. And the city of San Antonio. This is a broad stroke description of where we sit. The Spurs hired a company that provided the economic outlook to the city. They said, if we invest X, these are going to be the broad stroke purposes. This is how much it's going to cost, the investment, and this is how much money we think we're going to get back. Now, this is the company that the Spurs hired, not the company that the Spurs and the city of San Antonio agreed to hire. So our mayor's like, well, why? And others, she's not alone in this, but she is by far the most vocal because she's the mayor. So why don't we hire an independent company to go look at the numbers and make sure all the things jive? That's what she's saying. Now, you can decide whether it's late in the game, early in the game, we should be doing this. But this was a rather late attempt to slow the process. That's where we started on Thursday. Now, the vote eventually did happen. 6 council people voted to move on. The city staff, the city manager have all said, we're good with the numbers. We're comfortable with what the Spurs have told us. We trust that, somewhere in these numbers, the truth lies, whether it's the high or the low, we're in there. Let's pull forward. We don't have time to waste. We're trying to get the numbers appropriate, or at least close enough to vote on a November 4th ballot. And we have a ticking clock to get it on the ballot. So that's where we sit. The mayor said, well, I don't want to do anything till we get another proposal. And everybody else is saying, we've got the numbers. We trust the numbers, whether we did it or not. Let's move forward. That's where we sit.
All right. Here's what she's saying about the data.
I need to see some actual data. I have not in my lifetime seen an economic analysis that doesn't cite their data sources, that does not cite their assumptions. And part of this also, it's important that we're getting some resources from the state. And it's called the PSC, and it's the finance zone, right? And so what they're saying is, hey, the hotel taxes that would normally come to the state, we're going to let you dedicate that in this 3-mile area. You can only use it on the Alamo Dome, the convention center, or the arena. So what I am looking for is an analysis that helps us understand, hey, how do we lay our chips, right? How do we distribute that money? Because in the absence of that, we are making needlessly assumptions about the economic return on these things. So help us understand what is the economic return on each of these things. Then we can present to the voters, to the people, how we have done our due diligence about this, again, generational investment. It's about the convention center. It's about the Alamo Dome. It's also about the arena. I think what's also important when we look at this is we're thinking about revitalizing our downtown. All of us want to do that. One of the things I hear a lot about is housing downtown. So this is a major investment, yet it only calls for 1,900 housing units. That is kind of well short of what I think folks are looking for. So we've got an opportunity to meet many goals at the same time here. So let's do that. We have the time to do that. There is no deadline on our part. And I would say, and I've said this before, our calculus is different than the county's. The county has said, here's $311 million. No CBA, no community benefits agreement. They didn't ask for that from the Spurs. We will be asking for that from the Spurs, right? And again, I think the Spurs just shared that they may not need to leave the Frost Center early. So again, we have time to do this right, and that's what we should do.
It's as if the mayor discounts the last 6 months, like the last 6 months didn't even happen. I mean, nothing occurred till you showed up. We know you're recently elected,
right?
But
this was already rolling before.
Moving, and just because you just showed up and you're not comfortable with the numbers doesn't mean plenty of people that have seen are very comfortable. Our city manager, comfortable. 6 council people, comfortable, and they understand. One, housing downtown, you think that is a vital concern to most people? Am I going to have enough apartments close to this Project Marvel? Well, guess what? There'll be low-income housing downtown because no one's going to want to live there if there is no Project Marvel.
Right.
So there's a chicken and the egg thing. So let's get the egg, and then the chicken will come. These are pointless roadblocks. We know. Unless you screw this up royally, Gina. Can I say, Gina?
I think you
Madam
mean
Mayor.
Miss Mayor.
You're going to be governing over rubble. You're going to be governing over a tumbleweed town if this doesn't happen, because scared money runs. Nobody's going to show up to San Antonio and go, well, that Project Marvel didn't work. Let's try another $10 billion investment in downtown without the Spurs. And let's see who wants to live down. 1,400, that to you, and you will. You have to take into the consideration the concerns of the citizens, and most people aren't worried about housing downtown.
They asked her if she's thought about what it would mean if the city lost the Spurs.
We are so far from that. And I think nobody wants that.
Right.
Nobody also wants to, we don't need to go into this, I think, operating from a place of fear, though. One of the things that I think is important, so we're the 7th largest city in the country. Philadelphia is the 6th largest city in the country. And we can actually learn from what they just did. Last year, they had also the decision of, do we build our 76ers a new Spurs arena? The firm that did their economic analysis to help them understand that also did ours. It's called CSL. The report that the city of Philadelphia received was much more in depth than ours. They looked at local market conditions. They looked at the economic and fiscal impact of these things. They looked at just the basic question of, hey, can we support 2 arenas? That level of due diligence is what also the people of San Antonio deserve. We should look at these eyes wide open. My approach to this is very much, as you point out, what I heard on the trail. And I heard 2 things very distinctly. 1, we're the 7th largest city in the country. We got to act like it. And 2, we have persistent poverty in our community. We need to address that, which is why I am so committed to ensuring the maths, right? And we're doing everything possible with this generational investment in light of our generational inequities and in light of how important the Spurs are to our community.
Like, do you think more money moves into town if the Spurs are gone?
Again, you're cutting off your nose despite your face. Where do you think the money comes from? Where do you think economic development comes from? It comes from investment. When the tide rises, everybody's boats rise. Now, we do need to be good stewards of this. And Madam Mayor, you're right. But we need to make sure the money is flowing before we try to figure out how to spend it. We have to have the money coming in to spend to do the things we want to do. And this is the way we do things like that. And this regional tax thing and how the money's going to be distributed between the different, that's really a problem for you.
Right.
You're really going to slow things down because you want to know how much are we going to get for the Alamo Dome's upkeep? I can promise you this, it'll be more than you're getting now.
The other thing is, she mentions we're the 7th largest city in the country, and that's true.
That is here's the thing when you hear this. Yes, that is true, but that's just an arbitrary line that separates San Antonio from Alamo Heights, that separates San Antonio from Seguin or wherever you want to decide where the city lines is. This is about population markets. It's not about being the 7th largest city. As far as the market, we're in the lower 20s.
Right.
31.
The size of now there's taxation units inside that do matter. And we are, as far as the size of a city, have a lot of things we can tax. But as far as market size and money influx, we're distant down the list.
But New York, LA, Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, Philadelphia, they all have
3-team towns, man.
Multiple teams.
3-team towns.
And in fact, ask Phoenix, who didn't want to build an arena for their hockey team, and the hockey team said, bye, see ya. They're now the Utah Yeti or whatever they are, Blizzard or whatever.
A big open building, open half the time.
Yeah.
So there are so many things in play, Mayor. We want you to remain diligent and fine stewards of this ocean of money that you'll be dealing with. But we know that nothing happens without investment. And sometimes even cities got to take a risk. Sometimes you got to roll the dice. And this is one of those times, like you're saying, you don't get these. This is truly generational in a variety of ways. You don't get these opportunities very often. You don't get the chance to completely revamp your downtown and have a lot of people pay for it other than you.
Yeah.
You're having the Spurs kick in a fair amount that we're all going to benefit by. Now, certainly they will too, more than we, but we will benefit by their investment too.
All right. So here's her talking about if she's interested in a study of what would happen if the Spurs went away. See what she says about this.
All of it. Show the people, to your point, deserve all of that. This is what an investment looks like here. This is what, if we didn't have that, what it also looks like. Let's also, though, make sure people understand we have a big opportunity every 5 years with our bond. This is why I'm also so committed to making sure that we've got all the data. The bond that we are looking to do in 26, that's our borrowing capacity is going to be lower than what we originally projected based on the economic considerations in our community. The first
you won't need as much, Madam Mayor.
Several. The first bond for the Sports and Entertainment District is $220 to $250 million. That's just for the infrastructure to support the downtown development. If our council said, hey, let's also go ahead and fund those flood projects that we may not get any help from the state, 14 projects in our city, that's $411 million. So if you just did those two things, we're already at 660. And I think that cap is going to be lower than what we anticipated, maybe 800-ish, right? Potentially lower than that. So you can see there's not a lot more give for other projects that we want to do in our community. So that's the thing. It's not just the sports arena, it's the infrastructure that's coming along. I'll be honest with you, always what's taught in the back of my mind as well is what our community, frankly with the country, but in particular our community is also going to be facing here shortly. Reconciliation bill, as that is implemented, cuts, and it's particularly going to impact our people on our folks on fixed income, Social Security, Medicare, SNAP, et cetera. And that's why, you know, when folks are saying, oh, you're hell bent on revenue sharing. Yeah, I am. You know why? Because that revenue sharing, that can go into our general fund. We are on Thursday, we've got a budget briefing. And the staff has done some really good work to help us balance that. But over the longer term, we need to become structurally balanced, which means we need additional resources in the general fund. So yeah, that's why I want a cut of tickets. I'd like a cut of concessions. I'd like a cut of naming rights. All of those things. Even in the CSL report, they say the real value is in the incremental increase of those things.
Yes.
So as those incrementally increase in value, the Spurs are, you know, incrementally benefiting from that. I would also like the city of San Antonio to incrementally benefit alongside them.
Here's my issue with this. I get what she's saying. And
no, there's nothing to get here.
Okay.
We're talking about two different streams that she's trying to cross.
The Spurs are saying we will give $1 billion to this project
and cover cost overruns.
Now, I want you to understand, Jerry World cost $1 billion to make. A basketball arena is not Cowboy Stadium.
No, it's a third of that.
It is not $1 billion building. So so the Spurs are saying we will build our building and throw money to the Alamo Dome and the Convention Center and all of the remodel on top of what our actual building costs. And now she's saying, well, we want a cut of your tickets. We want your, like, that doesn't even make sense.
Well,
like, the Spurs are already giving money.
They are, and I appreciate that she's asking for this. But these are the kind of questions that were probably should have that have been dealt with prior to your arrival. And when we start when you start throwing in SNAP benefits, that's a dog whistle. What are you talking about? You're going to tell me that SNAP benefits and elderly care is somehow tied into the money that is going to help build the project? They're very different streams. Now, they do interact, but the fact that you're throwing this in tells me that you've got another thing involved here. I still can't get your end game. We don't have an unlimited clock. The clock is ticking.
Tick, tick, tick. And for those saying, you know, we're seventh largest city, act like it. We're not Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is funding 90% of their arena. The Thunder are only chipping in $50 million of a $900 million plus stadium. They're the seventh largest city. The Spurs are still the 31st media market, which is a lot closer to what Oklahoma City is at 47 than 1, 2, 3 like Houston, Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, Philly. There's a wide disparity, and you're playing with fire because teams don't commit this kind of money to projects like this. And like Rob said, you may be cutting off your nose to spite your face. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. The man who helped put a lot of this together, Ron Nirenberg, former mayor of the city of San Antonio, he joins to help kind of shed some light on the things that are being said about Project Marvel, or as he likes to call it, Project Downtown. We'll get into that coming up next here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Saturday afternoon at 6. The Cowboys are back home from training camp for their second preseason game, taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Pre-game at 5. Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds, the Davis Law Firm, Hornitos Tequila, Connecticut, and Jim Beam. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Hello.
I didn't make it into medical school, Dad. I didn't have an A in all my subjects, so I can't get in.
What do you mean, all these years I supported you, all the money I poured into your education, you don't get all A's? What was your bad subject? Chemistry, physiology, what?
No, Dad, spelling.
Spelling?
Yeah.
What, was it some funny microorganisms you couldn't spell or what?
No, Kinetico.
Kinetico?
Yeah.
You mean the water conditioner that uses no electricity? Are you kidding? Everybody knows how to spell Kinetico.
Not me.
Everybody knows Kinetico is the water conditioning company that revolutionized the water industry.
Sorry, Dad.
Everybody knows that Kinetico is spelled Kinetico.
I thought the instructor said Connecticut.
Oh, son, you should have remembered kinetic as in kinetic energy with an O on the end. Kinetico.
Right now, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit.
ConnecticutSA.com.
It's the last weekend of quarter horse racing season at Retama Park, and every Saturday night, cheer on the Wheatie Dogs as they race for big prizes. Enjoy terrace dining along with San Antonio's best sports bar, Clubhouse 95, with live music every Friday night. Nothing beats quarter horse racing when you get playpen rewards with every wager. This is the last weekend of quarter horse racing until next year, so don't miss live racing action at Retama Park. For all the details, visit retamapark.com. That's retamapark.com.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even I added too much water to the pizza dough day?
Yep.
How about getting a call from my daughter to pick her up at the airport because her boyfriend is unreliable day?
Especially that day.
What about finding out that one of my pipes suddenly burst in my basement day?
Progressive has every day covered 24/7 with the Home and Auto Bundle. Also, you have a lot of bad days.
Oh no, that was all the same day.
At least you're covered with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states. Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
94.1 FM.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pleasure. Appreciate y'all joining me. Of course, you can always call into the show, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. And just had a great conversation with somebody during the break. And look, I have said it about presidents. I will say it about mayors. I will say it about everybody. Look, I may not agree with you, but I will show your position the respect it deserves because that's the way I was raised. And she is the mayor of our fair city. I may not agree with her, but she does hold the title, and with that title comes the respect. And I will continue to show that. I have seen comments on her YouTube. I've seen comments on her Twitter. I've heard comments via our phone lines, and I get it. And like Coyote says, no death threats. Exactly. no death threats. Let's be people. Let's be good, decent human beings. We can disagree and we can find another way to go about things other than resorting to name calling and death threats. Because guess what? We're better than that. We grew up. We are no longer in kindergarten and first grade. Let's use our words. Let's use our powers. Let's do what we can. Let's vote. That is the strongest thing you can do to show approval or disregard for whoever it is that you may have an issue with. Like I'll say, a lot of people talk about, it's this, it's that. And I don't like to lean parties. I like to lean ideals. And there is no better representation of that than our previous mayor, who is also a Democrat, who has also been a part of this Project Marvel and got it going. And I will tell you this. Ron Nirenberg joined the Blitz today, and he made sure to shed the light because he has been as in tune with this and everything that goes on with this project as anybody has. And Ron Nirenberg set the record straight today about what it's been like with Project Marvel and where we're going moving forward.
So Ron, as you see what is taking place right now with the current mayor trying to have a pause on the progress as the term sheet is trying to get done. Now, the way I understand it, Eric Walsh said the other day, 7-4 council, they can move forward with the term sheet. But, and you've sat in that seat, you have a lot more information than 99.9% of the people listening. What, from your vantage point, the reason she would want to pause and what the city is actually doing right now with the city manager moving forward with the term sheet?
Well, I'll just start, Jason, and just say that the information I have is out there. I mean, it has been out there for a while. We've been having a public conversation for well over a year on this, which lines up to past efforts that we've had. And I'll also say, I really wish we would do away with the term Project Marvel. Let's just call it Project Downtown, because it really is about revitalizing and lifting up the assets that San Antonio residents enjoy every day in the urban core of San Antonio, which is one of the most important places that people convene in our city on a daily basis. The way I see it, if 7 council members or 8 council members or 6 council members want to move forward with a term sheet, then that's what's going to happen. The reality is it takes consensus to do anything in the city of San Antonio and in City Hall. And I think they will find a consensus around what looks to be an exceptional opportunity for San Antonio to elevate the landscape of our city, to elevate the experience of going downtown, and to certainly elevate and to make good on the promise of the best sports franchise in the world being located in our San Antonio area for another generation.
You know, Ron, we had Councilman Mark White on the show earlier this week, and he was talking about that, not necessarily deadlines, because our mayor, our current mayor, Gina Ortiz-Jones, saying we've got a lot of time. He says it's important to get this term sheet out because the voters will vote on the county portion of it in November, so they have that information as they go to the polls. Is that how you see it?
No, I think that's right. I mean, voters deserve to know what they're voting on. And part of this is the visitor tax, the hotel revenue that's generated when people stay at our local hotels, and what that's going to do to uplift the east side, that Freeman Coliseum site, as well as contribute to a new Spurs arena downtown. And to make sure that voters have all the facts in front of them, we need to negotiate that term sheet. And you've already heard the broader contours of what the deal is. The Spurs are going to be putting in $1.1 billion into the downtown development, which is being referred to as Project Marvel. 500 of that specifically will be going to the arena. But another $500 million is going to be guaranteeing the development in currently underutilized plots of land to uplift that area and make spaces to where the public can convene and we can enjoy being in our downtown area. There's also an additional 60-something million that will go to early childhood programs. So this is, by any stretch of the imagination, one of the largest investments by a sporting team into a local community. And a lot of people cite other communities and the dollars spent for sports teams to invest in their own facilities. This is up there with that amount of money, except it's going to a San Antonio community-owned asset. And that's nothing to dismiss. The significance of the investment into San Antonio by San Antonio Spurs is worth talking about loudly because it's a positive boon for our community.
Former Mayor Ron Nirenberg joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. And Ron, some of the things that I've heard from the current mayor on this economic analysis, and she wants one that's a little bit more detailed. The first one was done under your watch, and it seemed to satisfy you and the council at the time. How different would another economic analysis be if she were to do one?
Well, so let's make sure that the folks listening know what is being discussed here. And I would encourage people to read the economic impact analysis and some of the others that have been done in other communities. These are the equivalent, we've talked about it before, of the Farmer's Almanac, Joe. And it's not something you would make a budgetary decision on, but it is illustrative of the direction, the trend of doing a specific project. With this case, either a downtown sports district development, or we've done them for the airport. We've done them for things like our training initiatives. They generally tell you the spending trends that will happen, indirect and direct, as a result of a specific investment. You can do a dozen of them. They're all going to be a little bit different. The importance, though, is that it illustrates a position on it. It illustrates the economic impact of a decision, of a direction that you want to go in. It's not something that you should use to make a decision for you. So, it will be interesting to see what's in another analysis. My guess is that it will be very similar, and so where does that leave us? It still leaves us with the need to negotiate a good deal with the Spurs. And let's just talk about this for a second, you guys, because I've heard a lot of negativity around the Spurs asking for a third arena. First of all, that couldn't be further from the truth. The Spurs haven't asked for nor gotten 3 arenas from the city of San Antonio or from this community. The first place they were playing is Hemisphere Arena. That was built in 1968 for the World's Fair. Under the administration of Henry Cisneros, we started working towards a multi-purpose event venue for the city of San Antonio, also now known as the Alamo Dome. I know there was dreams about the NFL playing there. It never happened, but let's be clear about the Alamo Dome. It is the only reason why we've had more Final Fours here in San Antonio than any place outside of like the major markets that on the coasts. We are Final Four City USA, and it's because of the Alamo Dome. We've had 3 of the top 10 concerts a couple of years ago. All were happening here in San Antonio. We have the UTSA Roadrunners with an enviable home field that will continue to get more full as they win more games. But we have a facility that has performed. And, oh, by the way, it was revenue positive the day it opened its doors because it was debt-free. We have continued to put money into it so that we'll stay up to par. It's not the best looking place in the world, but guess what? It's got great bones, and it continues to field some of the best events the sporting world has to offer, and it will continue to deliver for us so long as we improve it. Now we talk about the AT&T Center. I would encourage people to go read the San Antonio Express News archives. The reason why that event venue was built is because if the Alamo Dome continued to be the home court for the Spurs, which is not what they elected to do, until that was the arena they had to play in. If it continued to be the home court for the Spurs, they would not have been competitive within the NBA. And so this community decided to build an arena with cooperation from the Spurs. But the city and the county were competing against each other on where to put it. And so at the time, the judge, Judge Cryer, made an offer to the Spurs to put it over there to end the debate and finally get the thing built. And that's where they have played for the last 25 years. It's been a great thing for the Spurs. It's been a great thing for the community to have a life for the Spurs in San Antonio in the meantime. But we always knew that was not the ideal situation for the Spurs. So this whole thing started, to be honest, Jason and Joe, this whole conversation about bringing the Spurs back downtown was predicated by the fact that we've got so much going on in our city. We've got an Alamo being redeveloped. We've got Hemisphere under redevelopment. We've got, a dome that needs to be improved in order for us to continue to compete for the largest events. So we've got a lot going on in San Antonio's downtown. That's what Project Marvel is all about, is what we're trying to improve our downtown. And so when the opportunity arose with probably the easiest corner in the downtown area to get to, being available to put the brand of our city internationally, which is the San Antonio Spurs, back in the downtown area, which frankly, where I believe they belong, let's see if we can pull it off. So that's where we are. It's not the Spurs coming hat in hand demanding a new stadium. It's an opportunity for us to lift our community together. And oh, by the way, now they have offered $1.1 billion to our community to help us get it done. You know, in my view, this is a no-brainer. It's an opportunity for us to improve downtown. The Spurs franchise is putting in a record amount of money, and the rest of it is going to be funded by visitors and tourists who stay in our hotels, rent our cars, etc. There's a lot of misinformation out there. As you can tell, I'm passionate about it because I think it's a good deal. It's frankly a better deal than I thought we probably could have gotten at the time we were initially conceiving it. And, I just think it's time for us to elevate our city, and it's going to be doing it in a prudent way that's fair to everybody.
You know, Ron, I love the passion that you have for this. I really do, and it makes me feel a lot better about what's happening here. Spurs aside for a minute, though, Ron, I want to ask you, Project Marvel, aside from the arena, what will that do for our downtown area? Not only that, but the convention business, the hotel business, and just the beauty of the downtown area.
Well, all of these individual projects, and we haven't even talked about the potential of bridging over I-35 to make a space where people can congregate and we can have concerts, and it would actually be park space over the highway. Things like that. All of those individual projects will elevate the experience of being in downtown for a local resident. I mean, you go downtown right now, you've got the Riverwalk, you've got a lot of great things happening around the Hemisphere area. You've got, the new restaurants and bars that have opened up, and UTSA building a downtown campus. A lot of great stuff is happening. If we were to do that in a comprehensive way and bring transit through the middle of it, which we are with the ART that just kicked off construction a few months ago, it's going to be a better downtown than we know today. And it only gets elevated if we do it in a comprehensive way that includes the major things that people like to go to in our city. And that's where the Spurs come in. A sports and entertainment district where you can park your car or get off a transit stop and walk from to dinner while you get ready for the game, go to the game, and then, go recreate downtown in the Hemisphere or wherever else you want to go in the downtown. You have a place that's walkable, that people can enjoy multiple things. That's going to only enhance the experience for local residents of their downtown right now. In terms of the economic impact, obviously, as more people spend time in the downtown area, not just residents, but visitors, that's going to impact local businesses with receipts. That's going to put, a lot more heads in beds, as they say, in hotels. And all that money that gets generated enhances our city. And a portion of that can now start to enhance other aspects of our city as we, begin to invest in these other components of a great community. So that's what the impact statements are all about, is try to forecast all that indirect activity. Again, I would say it illustrates the environment as a result of an investment. It's not going to give you a budgetary reason to approve it. Your gut, your instinct tells you that.
Former Mayor Ron Nuremberg joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Learn something new. Recreate, key word for go drink after a game. I like that, Ron.
Yes, that's nice.
Always educating, which is what you're here to do.
I'm talking about going to play a basketball game with Wemby under the bridge or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, sure. But you look at, and obviously any kind of project of this magnitude, there is always going to be pushback. It seems like such a fair deal with what the Spurs are putting in. I'm blown away by their $1 billion commitment. But I also look at current Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones talking about some bond election that's a year from now. I wasn't aware of that because I'm keep thinking this won't cost local taxpayers money. That bond might. So what are some of the things that most of us don't know down the road that she might be looking at and talking about that are big picture, where we're looking at this PFZ zone and the Bexar County hotel tax that's going to be coming up to vote in November?
Yeah, when we say it's not going to cost local taxpayer dollars, we're referring to the tax revenues that are produced inside that zone by hotels and other visitor taxes that right now are already being generated and going to other parts of the state. It's called a project finance zone. And when we got the legislature to approve it here, it said that we can designate a project inside that zone and we get to capture that revenue from the state. Right now, it's up to, Dan Patrick and those folks of where that money goes. We got approval from the legislature to keep it at home. But in order to do that, we've got to designate the project. And so that's what we're talking about here, is that revenue now is going to stay in San Antonio. If this doesn't happen, it's already, you're gonna pay it if you're going to stay in a hotel down there, but it's going to be spent in Lubbock and Fort Worth and Houston and all these other areas. I say bring it back home and let's use that to enhance San Antonio. Let's use it to create venues in our downtown area, i.e. also a Spurs arena. So that's what's happening. With regard to the bond, the arena is going to abut a public street. Those streets are going to be improved. There's also a SAW facility called the chiller plant that right now keeps a few buildings downtown cool. It's a lot more efficient to do that than buying air conditioning, by the way. And so we have had a proposal for the last 5 years over at SAWS to improve that chiller plant facility, relocate it so we can use that energy efficient, cheaper source of energy to cool buildings downtown. That part, to move that plant, is going to cost some money. So that's part of what we're going to have to pay for as a community through things like bonds, sidewalk improvements, park space, the things that we own and operate and are the obligation of the city to build and to maintain for our residents are what will be on the bond. It's not going to be stuff because of the San Antonio Spurs. And I know, look, I've been in City Hall for long enough for me to understand, no matter how well-intentioned the project is, no matter how good it will be, there will be a level of cynicism and distrust simply because it's government, and that's where we are. There's a lot of examples of bad projects in years past, and I will point to them myself. So there's a lot of cynicism, but let's make sure that facts are facts. And these bonds are for public improvements that will need to be done regardless of whether there's a Spurs arena or Project Marvel or anything else. And the level of due diligence that's been done by the city. Let me say one thing, and I probably shouldn't say it, but the chief financial officer of the city of San Antonio is the best CFO in the public sector, not just in the city, perhaps in the state, and maybe even the country. I've got to work with this guy for a long time. He works slowly and methodically, and if anybody suggests that he's not doing his due diligence, I would beg to differ and have you spend a couple of days with this guy. The due diligence that's been done by the city staff is just, let me just say, as a taxpayer, gives me confidence and that team down there.
Fantastic.
Ron Nuremberg, man, we could continue on, but we're out of time. We have to take a break. Appreciate it. Do you miss all the long meetings, or are you enjoying the gig over at Trinity?
Just getting started over there, and I'll be teaching a class, but no, I enjoy it. I enjoy handing the baton off. I know everybody down there is well-intentioned, wants to do the right thing, and they've got tough issues and decisions to make. And I encourage them to continue to work hard and do right by the community of San Antonio. That's what folks deserve, and I know that at the end of the day they will.
That was Ron Nuremberg joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line at buyersbarricades.com. Traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Coming back, we'll talk more about this. Plus, get you ready for some preseason football as we will get to see the Cowboys' first round pick. Finally, we'll discuss it all coming up here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm, how can I help?
Hi, I got hurt in a wreck, but I don't know if it's really worth getting an attorney.
Don't worry, you called the right place.
I'm Jeff Davis. At Davis Law Firm, we're here for you 24/7, and you don't pay unless we win. We recently secured a jury verdict for $210 million in a wrongful death case. So if you've been hurt, call us at 444-4444.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
Guys, it's summertime. Carbox got you covered with summertime beers. Whether it's the Love Street Blonde Kolsch Ale, the Rhubarb, which is their latest Fun Series beer, or a Ziegenbach, Crawford Bach, whatever you're looking for, there's something for everybody's taste in Carbox lineup. Check them out at all your local stores.
Free products and services are the best. They're next to non-existent, though. But the next best thing does exist. Barter. Alamo Barter. Right here in San Antonio, if you have a business and provide a product or service, you can barter with hundreds of other businesses that are already members. From trips to a medical visit, restaurants, and home services, Alamo Barter is a great way for you to trade out your skills with others. Call Alamo Barter or visit them online at alamobarter.com. alamobarter.com.
Hi, I'm Michael from the Warren Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection, 0.5 milligrams.
Limu and I always tell you to customize your car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. But now, we want you to feel it. Cue the emu music, Limu.
Save yourself money today. Increase your wealth. Customize and save, we say.
That may have been too much feeling.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Calling all snack MVPs, it's time to huddle up with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the low-carb, high-protein snack with a flavor-packed crunch. From sea salt and cracked black pepper to hot honey, sweet barbecue, and more, these bold bites are ready to tackle your crunch time cravings. Find your flavor playbook at H-E-B and make every bite count. Because when it's crunch time, there's only one snack you need on your team. Southern Recipe Small Batch.
We're brought to you today by GNC. Hope I'm not interrupting your workout routine, but the GNC Live Well sale is going on right now. Buy one, get one, 50% off everything in the store and at GNC.com. That's right, everything. Protein, pre-workout, creatine, vitamins, supplements, and so much more. Go for it all and don't miss out. At GNC, nutrition isn't just the department, it's the whole freaking store. You got goals, GNC has results. Visit your local GNC store or go to GNC.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
We're on the air with Joe Exotic. Okay, so we get 2 baby tigers. Like, in 6 months, what do they weigh?
About 80, 90 pounds in 6 months.
80, 90 pounds?
They'll start eating 6 cow a week about a year and a half.
Really? Now, if you have a dog that you don't like, you just throw it in there?
People have been known to feed their husbands to them, so why not a dog?
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Listen to the John Clay Wolf Show Saturday morning at 8 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. How about them Cowboys? We rise as one in Texas, sporting handed-down silver and blue jerseys. We come together for America's team every time they take the field. So let's share a round of Jim Beam and lemonade on game day together, because people are good for you, especially for us in Cowboys country. Presented by Jim Beam, bringing fans together across Cowboys country. 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2024, James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart.
Gomez Law Firm has been fighting for the rights of San Antonians for 50 years. We have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here. What is something you see often as a personal injury attorney and protecting your clients?
The one thing we always see without fault in a case is that the insurance company will always reach out to them soon after the collision, and they try to get them to agree to a low settlement. They try to get them to agree to signing a piece of paper. They want them essentially to sign their rights away without ever even consulting with an attorney. Right? In the grand scheme of things, if you sign a piece of paper, you're signing your future interest away. So that's why it's so important to call the Gomez Law Firm, because we make sure we protect your rights, and you're not signing your life away. You're not signing your rights away.
If you or your family have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then call the Gomez Law Firm first. 210-736-4040 or visit joegomezlaw.com. Protect your family and protect your rights.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Of course, if you want to catch that full Ron Nuremberg interview, it will be, is in the audio vault at sasportstar.com. It is powered by AA Best Bail Bonds. It'll also be on our YouTube channel. I'm uploading that shortly, so you will see that there, man. And it's true, you don't know what you got till it's gone. And with Mayor Ron, we have one of the good ones, and fantastic human being, great leader, great vision and foresight. And I really enjoy him joining and bringing us the insight from his perspective on a project that he actually got started and what it means, and bringing some clarity to what is going on behind the scenes with this project and what it means to the city, how it helps the city and improves moving it forward, and brings extra revenue in to help to fund the other agendas that this city would like to get done. And it's a beautiful thing. I heard Rob Thompson talk this morning. At one point, Hemisphere Arena was thought as a waste, and it became a huge part of San Antonio downtown revitalization, et cetera, et cetera. We are seeing more revitalization of downtown with efforts with the Pearl and things like that. If you build something like this Project Marvel, it pushes more to downtown. And that is a good thing. And that, as they say, a rising tide lifts all ships. And that is true, because you build this, you bring it. I'm going to want to go downtown. I hate going downtown personally. And I think downtown's for the tourists, as we like to say, for the most part. And now you build something like this, you build an infrastructure like this, and it makes the locals want to visit downtown. And it becomes more prominent and more forward conscious and more top of mind. And I don't mind saying that, because as a guy that I like staying on the north side of town, northeast side of town. I love hanging out at the Roo Pub. I love that area of town. I don't like to leave my bubble. I especially don't like to, the surge pricing of Ubers when I try and leave downtown. But you build something like this, and all of a sudden it makes it something that you want to be a part of. I don't mind going down to the Pearl. I don't mind going to these other venues that are popping up now, because they're destinations, Elseworld. Like, that's what this becomes. And all of a sudden it breathes new life into the downtown area, for not just tourists, for the city itself. And it makes you want to be a part of it. And with the Spurs kicking in this kind of investment, it lets you know that they're serious about wanting to be here, because sports teams do not commit these kind of dollars because they know the public will pay for it. And yet the Spurs are saying, it's cool. We're going to pay our weight in this. And they are offering as big or a bigger commitment than any sports franchise ever offers to bring not just an arena, an entertainment district. They're talking about so much more than just an arena. And I'll tell you this, that should make you feel confident as a fan of the Spurs that they are committed to this city. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger. I appreciate all y'all for riding along with me tonight. We will talk to you tomorrow right here on San Antonio Sports Star as we get you ready for the weekend. Don't forget, start your morning with AJ and Rob in the morning huddle. They get you going from 6 to 10. And then, of course, the Blitz will be live out at the Hunters Extravaganza down there at the Freeman Coliseum. We'll check you tomorrow night. Y'all have a great night. Call your loved ones. Check on them. You never know what people are going through in life. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, listen up, San Antonio. Many of the successes you've had began with a great opportunity. Now, here's another one. Get started on your degree or certificate in San Antonio. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs, faster onboarding, and more from University of Maryland Global Campus. Get personalized local support services and take online or hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATX.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems like snoring, aches and pains, hot sleep, or even an old saggy mattress that